Whew. What is up, everyone? Ha. Throw on the ring, because I'm about to do my thing. Alright. What is up, everyone? It's me, the Comic Outlaw, aka your main man, Jack Slater, traveling from here to there. You know, my man moves everywhere. But this main man gets a little tired from once in a while. I do a little this and that. You know, I got a taste for villains. You know, I got a mad taste for villains. And, I happen to found stay. I happen to find this little gem. You can't get more sinister than Mr. Sinister. Nathan Ethics. This guy was around the time of Darwin. He was experimenting with genetics, and he thought the next evolutionary step would come through an advancement in mutants. He ended up taking the notice of one apocalypse, and he turned him into this. He became something dark, sinister. Although his motives were pure for a while, he was trying to save his wife and I guess their kid, and he was mutating different people. He was causing all kinds of stuff. He actually got that group together, the Marauders, and they're the ones responsible for slaughtering the Morlocks back in the day. He was the one that made that deal with Gambit, drilled into his head. He's the one that's obsessed with Cyclops and Jean Grey, the bloodline of the X-Men. And a very interesting character. Got his start in the 80s. I think 86. X-Men 212, pretty sure. Right around the time Chris Claremont was big balling and shot calling. That's when they first mentioned him. Because some of these villains, they whisper at first. Like the first appearance of Apocalypse is just a shadow out of frame and you barely see the outline of him in X Factor. I mean, or like when I was talking about a little while back with Leader, it was just the name and then just like a little figure. Leader. So sometimes first appearances aren't all that cracked up to be. Wolverine appears on 181 on the last page, and then it's the fight afterwards that you want to see. So enough about that. Check this guy out. Mr. Sinister has a wide cabaret of powers. Telepathy. He can shoot laser beams. He has a certain amount of superhuman strength. Massive healing factor. Also, let's see. He's a genetic scientist. He's a very evil man. He has longevity. He can live a very, very long time. Genius intelligence. I mean, the man has it all. Absolutely pure evil. You gotta love a villain like that. This guy, there's usually no in between. And that's actually interesting because a lot of the villains in the X-Men, they end up shifting back and forth. I know with this new X-Men, everyone's playing together and they're all, I don't know what the hell. I don't like it. But back in the day, this guy was evil. Period. There was no redemption for this man. And he always had a plan. He always had a troop of different people together. And they were called the Nasty Boys, now that I'm thinking about that. Very interesting group of people, and he just kind of genetically created them. One of his best appearances were in the X-Men cartoons in the '90s. They did a really good job, bringing his evilness to life. He was in Wolverine and the X-Men too. He hasn't really made a lot of appearances, although he's more of a shadow, a background person. Like I said, he's the one that comes up with the plan. He will get his hands dirty. The best iteration that I found was the Age of Apocalypse version. He created Dark Beast. Dark Beast from the Age of Apocalypse gets sent back in time. He's the one that creates the Morlocks. Sinister finds him, decides he needs to destroy them, and sets the whole thing. Comics are interesting. They tend to fill in their plot holes with more plot holes. Such is life. We tend to fill in things in our life with plot holes too, or a little embellishment here and there. Or, a story is never a story. Usually it becomes myth and then legend and further on. But yes, Mr. Sinister. Oh man, like I've been waiting for this action figure for a long time. Really cool. I mean, like truly just an evil bastard. I could sing this man's praises as a villain all day. I guess now that they're doing this big X-Men thing where everyone's joined together, and he's still kind of a bad guy, but not. Sometimes it's nice to have a good old sawdust on the floor villain. Just a bastard. And this guy, in X Factor, in X-Men, this guy was my bastard. I always knew I could count on this guy to do something sinister for me, for us, the reader, because you know that's what we want. Sometimes you just want the bastard. The guy would be like, yeah, this guy's just evil. And I hope someone just kicks him in the nut. You see, that's the mark of a true heel. True heel right there. That's a Dudley Boy, ECW heat, if you know what I'm saying. Look that up. Dudley Boy ECW. Ha. But yeah, I'm talking about that old school heat. Wrestlers often talk about that, like, you were just hated. Like Roddy Piper was hated back in the day, you know. You just gotta love a good villain like that, so. Enough, let's pop this sucker open. Little key to the city. Should be like, Dankeschön, darling, Dankeschön. Thank you for all the joy and pain. I recall first embarking the toy dress. What a mess, I confess. Alrighty. Now, I think I'm going to get all the Wendigo parts together because the toys are pretty cool. Showing the front and back. It was a little late now if I didn't, so. Alright. I'm so excited about this. Let's just pop this open. Fresh plastic. Okay. Of course, the Wendigo's arm. Let's see. Let's look for those little plastic straps that I love so much. Now, this kind of sucks when they do this because you have to pull it out sort of carefully. Oh, it pulled out. This is the first time. I've had so much trouble with these with different capes and Batman characters where it messes up the cape. Alright, first impression. Damn, they made the cape grandiose. Very tall. Very tall, dude. Check him out. Man, look at that. Look at that. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it kind of looks like the action figure, the big action figures that they made in the 90s. They had these huge action figures. I had a few up here until I started rearranging things. And I actually have a Mr. Sinister, and it had this big part like this, except it's kind of clicked off. And this is cool. He's big, very articulate. Let's see what feet are a little stiff. But that's not bad, though. That's not a bad thing. Because once you get it posed, that means you can get him standing up just right. Not bad. Let's see. Very articulate. It's not. Knees being, check it out. Knees, everything. Hands, everything bends. Bends good. Bends right. Alright. Let's see. No weapons, no accessories. Usually this guy has technology of some sort with him. He has some kind of like weird syringe or, weird gun or something like that. Some kind of weird genetic worm that sucks out your mutant powers. He uses a lot of organics in his genetics. Like, instead of just like test tubes, it'll be like some kind of slug thing. He's like one of those mad scientists that use parts of different things. Sort of like a mad Frankenstein meets H.P. Lovecraft, with just a dash of magnificent bastard in there. Very interesting character. Very interesting toy. Very big. Feet are a little hard to stand, but not bad. I could find a stand for him. Very regal. Like I said, the cape is big. Very big toy. Very cool, though. I mean, they captured the smile well. That diamond right there, since I'm on the subject, was Apocalypse's seal, the symbol that he put on him. So he knew who always changed him. Truly a sinister villain. Well, that's my toy review for the Mr. Sinister. And yeah, that Wendigo set's actually pretty cool. I do like that. And as I said, one of my favorite villains in X-Men. I check him out. He did a lot of work in X Factor too. Anywhere where you saw the Summers, you usually saw Mr. Sinister. Or the Summers period. X Factor, the second iteration with Havoc. He did a lot of different work with the Summers. Like he would terrorize them. He created Marilyn Pryor as a clone, and she was the one that married Cyclops, and he ended up ditching her for Jean Grey when she came back to life, and then she had that kid, and then she became the Goblin Queen, and then that kid became Cable, who got sent back in time, or sent to the future to kill Apocalypse, and then he went back in time to kill Apocalypse, and then he kind of killed him with his blood mixed in, and then he ended up creating Apocalypse, and then created the whole circle. Well, if it wasn't for this man throwing his bid in and getting his work done, none of that would have happened. Woo! Man, that was a lot to explain. Whew. Somebody help me. I am out of breath. Whew. Yeah. Like, what can I tell you, comics? Yeah, but that whole thing with the Goblin Queen's actually pretty cool. It's worth checking out. The whole Marauders story, very cool. And then he's just, like I said, just a sinister dude. Sinister intentions. And this is me, the comic outlaw. And I'll be catching you on the flip side, seeing you later. And hit us up, drop us a like and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you on the flip side. Yeah.